Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's your host, Kaylee here, and you are tuning in to episode number 239. Today, we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, money. And I've wrestled with the right approach to having this conversation with you because I want to be sure to appropriately communicate my philosophy around the role of money in the hands of an inspiring female entrepreneur. You may have heard me talk about our mission at KLC to help 1,000 inspiring and intentional women cross the next $1 million milestone in their business each year. And I think because you're a listener here, it's important that as a woman alongside me on this journey, you understand why I believe crossing this milestone is important to your mission in the world. When you come to work with us in the Pop Leadership Academy, we teach you the framework to building a life-first business, a business that prioritizes your wealth, health, impact, and freedom, a business that uplifts and energizes you, and in turn empowers you and others in your ecosystem to thrive. Money is a fuel for that vision. And let's level set here. Money is also essential to life. Money is quite literally a survival currency. It provides shelter, medical care, food. And when we talk about abundance, the amount of freedom that money will give you can actually be life-changing. It'll allow you to travel and explore the world, to have more opportunities to build and scale your business. And the more money you have, the more you can tap into your own creativity and ingenuity to create impact in the world. Money gives access to mentors, education, and learning, and it will allow you to employ others and perpetuate that wealth for them. Essentially, the way you're able to influence and affect change in the world changes as you have the capacity because of the money that you have. Money is a powerful tool for creating a life-first business, period. I truly believe everyone has a dream inside of them, and money makes it possible to achieve their highest potential. And if you have a perspective that people with money are greedy, then you will subconsciously or consciously sabotage your relationship with it, even if you are far from greedy and your money is well intended for you to make a bigger impact in your own world. Many of the brilliant women who come into our programs have a lot of shame around money. And most of the conversations and internal feelings about money are very private, honestly. And it's that shame that we have about money that's the very thing that works against us, because what we end up doing is we suppress and hide the fact that we aren't taught as women in our society to manage our money. We aren't taught financial literacy. And then we're also taught not to talk about that. And then what happens deep down is a relationship we develop between our worthiness as a human being and then the way we interact with our money. We're not taught in school how to file taxes or how to make investments or what capital gains are. No, we're taught what a parallelogram is. So thank goodness. How useful is that? If you understand that your financial acumen is not something that you should be a master of automatically, then you don't have to beat yourself up over it, okay? So let's stop hiding from our own truth. Like, for example, if you know you're going to have a big meal on Thanksgiving, probably not going to want to get on the scale the next day because you just don't want to know. Like, you know, you ate a big meal. I do this regularly. But just because we're not facing it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So here's the point of all of this. If your desire is to be a better businesswoman, to better understand your numbers, you can't overlook the importance of a healthy money mindset. For me, I've generally always had a healthy money mindset, meaning I believe that money comes easily. And I also view spending money as energy. As it goes out, more comes in droves. But there was a pivotal moment for me when I started seeing my value differently as it relates to my ability to make money. And that was when I decided to leave corporate America and a life with a quote unquote secure paycheck. See, I was someone who desired from a very young age to access the American dream, to climb the corporate ladder. And I did just that. For 10 years after college, I worked in Fortune 500 and ultimately scaled my career inside one of the world's largest aesthetic medical device companies. The year I left, I'd been promoted to a Western area director role, meaning I was responsible for sales and sales teams in the Western United States. I loved my job and especially the people that I got to lead. But toward the end, things changed a lot for me. The company brought in a new chief commercial officer who, let's just say, had different values than I did. It's a long story for another day. But the bottom line is I got to the point of leaving and he simply told me that he couldn't pay me out for my commissions owed because he had changed the comp plan. And people told me that's illegal, Kaylee, you should sue the company. And you know what? I decided instead to walk away. And I left that room that day deciding I will never let someone else dictate how much I get paid ever again. So here I went out. I started KLC in 2016 on a vengeance to take over the world. I'm sure you know that feeling, like watch me world, so much optimism and opportunity. And I set a goal to make as much money in my business as I had earned in salary in my director role. And that was plenty. And off I went. My business grew after making negative dollars for a while, mind you. And within the first couple of years, I had achieved that net income goal. So I decided, hey, why not push my goal? So I was like, okay, hey, Kaylee, how about you make $1 million? And that's when I hit a roadblock because I realized that while I fully felt worthy and capable of generating that income, I hadn't adopted the mindset of a woman whose value is worth $1 million. I had a lineup of clients who paid me for my time or to work on a specific project or deliver a certain training. But at some point, I began to burn the candle at both ends, and hitting that $1 million milestone started to seem impossible. I started to question if the cost of making $1 million was worth it. I had to reframe my mind. So I asked myself a very important question that I'd like to ask you today. What is it that you think you have to give in order to make more money? So I'm going to ask you one more time. I want you to think about this. What is it that you think you have to give in order to make more money? Most people will say time or effort. And the problem with this equation is that you will always be limited if that's the currency exchange, because time and effort are limited resources. And when I think back to the time I spent in my corporate career, I was highly motivated. I was rewarded and awarded and praised and promoted because I went above and beyond. I didn't work on time or effort. I wasn't getting paid for the hour I worked. I was getting paid for the value I contributed to that hour. So the takeaway for me was that making money should be related to the value I bring to the world, not the job I have or the time I spend working. And I teach our clients about valuing themselves, their services, and their practice at the highest level because, one, it's a good business strategy, but also because I believe that it's this reframe that allows us to do our very best work. It's when we show up inspired to go above and beyond in every way with our clients. It informs how we hire and pay our employees. And this value perspective is one that inspires us to set boundaries to protect the people around us who appreciate and respect that. The people that are exchanging money with us as a shared source of rocket fuel. I stumbled upon a coaching philosophy shared by Brooke Castillo through Esther Hicks, an idea that every single person on earth has a pile or an escrow of money available to them. It's endless, and it can come from all kinds of sources. You either use it or it just sits there. You don't take it from someone else. The main idea is that everyone has access to more money. And by accessing my pile of money, I can then pay others who will then access theirs. So for example, when a client hires me, I'm helping them access their next $1 million in that pile. It's a whole idea about money that's not a limited pot. It's an energy exchange, and giving to others and making more to give to others just sweetens the pot for everyone. So maybe for you, this is a little woo, but I'm telling you that I've worked with hundreds of women and men who never break through to the level they desire because they're restrained by a mindset that money is finite and controls their ability to take inspired action. That's why I believe setting a financial goal is really about your thoughts, your beliefs, and your feelings about that goal. It's not really about the goal itself. The money you do or don't have is just an expression of what's going on inside of your brain. Think about it. When you spend on things, how much you spend, what you spend, how much you pay your employees, where you save your money, it's all an expression of your beliefs about that money. The math, though, is just the math. It's black and white. It's like there's math and then there's drama about the math. So you might ask yourself today, is the way I'm thinking about money more likely to make me more money or restrict me from making more money? It's an important question because most of the time when I ask my clients this question, I hear things like, well, I don't have enough money. I don't have the time to make more. I'm in so much debt, I'll never be able to get out of it. People don't want to pay for what I'm offering. The economy is bad. And because your thoughts impact the way you feel, and the way you feel drives the action you take and ultimately your results, well, no wonder the I'm bad at business because I don't know my numbers excuse stagnates you. If you want to make more money, you need to develop a healthy relationship with money, period. Ask yourself, what's your relationship like with your best friend? You probably can answer that easily. You know what's working well. You know where there's conflict. I could ask you, what do you wish you could do differently with your best friend? You know, what do you think of that relationship right off the top of your head? But when I ask you the same question about money, oh boy, what thoughts do you have? I might ask you, what's working? What's not? What kind of relationship do you want to have with money? Building a confident money mindset comes the same way building a confident anything comes, by doing the work, by having the tough conversations, and by shifting your perspective about the value of the work you do in the world. I'm not asking you to change your business model. I'm just asking you to get honest with yourself about the thoughts and feelings you have around money, because the internal work that you do will directly inform the external work of the money management and financial literacy. My vision today personally is so expansive that it blows my own mind. And I couldn't have built this level of confidence without putting in the work and starting right here with myself. Okay, leader, I hope this has been helpful, and I highly encourage you to ask yourself some honest questions. And if you need some support through this process, well, you know where to find me. Chat with you, same place, same time next week. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight, because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working to cross the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.